The Kingdom of Eldora, landlocked by southern Ohio, already has an earl. Tonight it crowns a king, possibly one who has ruled before, or maybe a new monarch. The royal treasury will reward the king 50,000 Eldoran dollars. All this plays out on the jousting field known as the fastest half-mile dirt track in the world in front of 20,000 loyal subjects. So here in Rossburg, Ohio, it all begins. The month of money, 50,000 tonight for promoter Earl Baltus, and then July 25th, Lernerville Silver Cup, a mere 33,000 bucks. August 4th, back here, the historical big one, 100 big ones. And August 12th, we'll be there, TNN Sports at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals, $100,000. Our first order of business is to jump down to the pits to the associate editor of Open Wheel magazine, Dave Argabright, with the winningest King's Royal driver ever.
Steve, 16 years ago, this race changed history when they offered $50,000 to win a sprint car race. That's the night that this man, Steve Kinser, drove his car to this spot right here, hopped out, and let out, I think, the biggest yell I've ever heard. Steve, how did that race impact the sport of sprint car racing?
Well, I think Earl's was the first one to get the purses up, and you got to thank him. He was the first $50,000 win race, first $100,000. Heck, I remember when he was the first $10,000 to win race. So he's did a lot for getting the purses up, and you got to thank him.
How did that change your career? Was it a big win for you historically?
Well, yeah, back then that was a big win for us, and we've won a few since then. And it's been a few years since we won one, so let's hope we can pull one off here tonight.
97 was your last year to win this thing. Is tonight the night you get back to victory lane?
I don't know. They make it pretty tough the way they run the format here. They penalize the quick qualifiers and put them back in the back, and then you got to run the top three, and it just makes a mess out of everything. But you got to have a little luck, then you got 40 laps.
Well, we wish you luck tonight, Steve Kinser. On to Bobby Gerald.
Well, Steve Kinser may think that it makes a mess out of everything, but it's a lot of fun for the race fans. The format is the great part of the King's Royal, where they invert 6 and only take 3 out of the heat races. And Jack Hodenschild, you've been able to win this race 3 times. Is the format what suits your style so well?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, you have a lot of luck involved, and you know, qualifying hopefully on the front row, and which we did tonight. So hopefully that'll be good for us.
In 1998, you won this race in the Pennzoil car, still for Jack Eldon. Do you have the car tonight to back up that win in 98?
Yeah, I really think we do. The cars ran good here the last 2 nights, and car felt good in hot laps and everything. We didn't qualify good, so hopefully we'll pick it up the rest of the night.
25th fast, you're going to be starting on the front row of a heat race. You might have worked this thing out just right, huh?
Well, I'm hoping we did. Like I say, the car's handling good and felt good. We just didn't get a good qualifying draw, but hopefully we can get there.
Jack Hodenschild starting on the front row of a heat race tonight, Steve Evans.
Thank you very much, Bobby Gerald. I am Steve Evans. This would be Brad Doty. And it's kind of interesting that since this race began, there's only been 8 winners. 4 of them are here tonight out of 49 drivers. This is a race of experience, let's face it.
It really is, and it's an intimidating track. Some say downright scary. Those 4 guys that are here tonight out of the 49 probably have more laps here than anybody, and that's what's key to getting around this racetrack, getting that race car comfortable to run that close to the wall.
Well, Steve Kinser alluded to it. It's a tough format, and that's why maybe only these 8 drivers have ever won. Kinser 4 times, Jack Hodenschild 3, Doug Wolfgang now retired 2. Sammy Swindell hopes to make it 2 in a row for a total of 3. Dave Blaney is here tonight helping his brother Dale to win his first one. Donnie Crouch Jr., Johnny Herrera, and Bobby Davis Jr. rounds it out. And as Steve Kinser alluded, it's a tough format.
Well, there it is. 3 cars out of the heat. They invert 6. The key to this is the first lap. You got to make something happen because this place is so fast. When they get strung out, it's hard to make up any ground.
Okay, that's the format. And now to bring you up to date on an injury report from last night's A feature. There was a really serious accident, but we've got good news. It was Brooke Tatnell first getting upside down. Craig Delansky comes along and just hammers him. Now, Delansky, believe it or not, in that flipping car will drive tonight with a bruised right leg. Brooke Tatnell is on the grounds. He will not drive. Brian Paulus will take the wheel of his second car, and he's got a compressed back or neck injury, and they'll have some further medical research on that. Okay, now let's take a look at the action from last night. It was truly a wonderful night under the lights here at Eldora Speedway. There's Brian Paulus. He bent his car up against the wall, Brad. He's going to have Tatnell's car. And here's a scary moment.
It's Greg Hodnett getting up over Shane Stewart on the back straightaway on the start of the main last night.
But it was Sammy Swindell and Dale Blaney putting on the show to the checkered flag. And I'll tell you, had it been 1/2 a lap longer, it would have been Dale Blaney instead of the man from Tennessee, Sammy Swindell. Stay with us. When we come back, let the games begin. Heat 1.
Hi, I'm Tony Konza. Our ad agency told me if you want to sell your wraps, Tony, Put kids in your commercials.
Is brought to you by Mopar. Parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. And by Luxair, the official heating and air conditioning supplier to the World of Outlaws. Welcome back, everybody. A beautiful shot as the sun starts to set at Eldora Speedway. This will be heat number 1 of the Kings Royal. Let's show you the grid. 8 cars for 10 laps. On the point, on the pole, will be Rocky Hodges. Veteran would be an understatement. A very brave driver. Jack Houtenscheld, who's run second both nights. Kevin Huntley, Kenny Jacobs in row 2. In row 3, Sammy Swindell and Jeff Shepard.
Yeah, this is a case where Jeff Shepard probably messed up qualifying. He's quick time for tonight, and that puts him car back there in the 3rd row.
So as we mentioned, Sammy Swindell is inside the 3rd row, and he's had an interesting couple of days, actually, and pretty successful. Thursday night, the man from Tennessee, three-time Adelaide Pennzoil champion. In the A feature, it was really the favorite, but all of a sudden, Johnny Herrera leaped into the front, and Sammy couldn't catch him. In fact, Sammy finished 3rd, Jack Houtenscheld in the middle. Then last night, Sammy had total control, and still the Amico car, the 93 car of Dale Blaney, mounted to charge, but Sammy won it by a couple of car lengths and hopes to win this heat.
Again, very critical. Get the top 3, and boy, these guys, you'll see it really charging on that first lap. As I said in the opener, then they get strung out. It's hard to make up any ground, Steve.
Well, Jeff Shepard kind of screwed up qualifying quick because he's now outside the 3rd row. On Jeff Shepard, Dave Argabright?
It may be said, Steve, that Jeff Shepard did mess up by being fast qualifier, but they're very determined not to repeat last night where they qualified 22nd and failed to transfer into the A main. The 4J car, they are very focused on coming back strong tonight.
Well, then they turn around and have quick time tonight, and that even makes it harder to transfer tonight than probably that 22nd did last night.
Oh, indeed. 10 big laps. Often the heat races are just 8, not here tonight. But that gives the guys in the back that were inverted more chance to go to the front.
Exactly.
Bobby Gerald?
It sure does, Steve. And look at the tough racing here. Kenny Jacobs sitting on the outside of row number 2. A lot of experience there, but the experience in front of him in Houtenscheld. Jacobs had motor problems last night. They have back in now their good motor. He said they had a couple of good ones. Kenny Jacobs has qualified for 13 of the 15 previous Kings Royals. He'll try to get in the top 3 here as we get set to go. A little bit of tension right now in the air before this first heat race, Steve.
Oh, I'd say that's an understatement. Sweeping down into turn number 4, headed for the flagman, Don Meingart. The green is out. Heat number 1 is underway in the Kings Royal. Rocky Hodges takes the lead as they go into turn number 3, but can he hold on to it? Jack Houtenscheld.
They're going to bring us back. Kevin Huntley in the 92, they're having a problem down in turn 2.
Ah,
what a beautiful race car. I'm
telling you.
Denny Ashworth that owns this thing has some really custom paint jobs on this car. He's always changing it, but that doesn't help him at this point. Something happened down there.
So we will come back for a complete restart of heat number 1 when we come back live here on TNN Sports, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. It is the greatest show on dirt.
Watch closely. This amazing titanium tip drill bit is actually moving sideways.
Start of heat number 1. It will run in its entirety. Not a single lap was complete. Were you surprised, Brad, of the start by Rocky Hodges over Jack Houtenscheld?
Yeah, I really was a little bit the way Rocky ran last night, but boy, that thing didn't stumble at all, and he got a good start. Let's see if Houtenscheld lets him get away with that again this time.
Rocky Hodges, the 18 car on the pole inside the front row. On the wild child with a much better start this time and heads upstairs. Hodges down low, keeps pace with him.
Boy, that's tough to do at Eldora to go around the bottom like that. But once they get wound up and Hodge and the guys on the top get their momentum and get up to speed, you see Jacobs, same thing right around the top.
Yep, Kenny Jacobs, a 6K car. Now running 3rd, that's the orange machine.
Yep, but then Hodges comes right back out of turn 2. Hodges' machine really running well in the middle and bottom of the racetrack.
And here comes Shepard making his move. Jeff Shepard, the 4J car.
Wow, on the inside of Sammy, boy, Sammy's in trouble.
Indeed, after 2 great nights, Sammy Swindell is fading. He is not going to transfer directly to the A feature. Only the top 3 will, unless there's a miracle. Remember, though, there's 10 laps, and we're only on lap number 3. And the transfer spot right now is Kenny Jacobs.
Yeah, with Shepard behind him and who's right in front of Sammy there. There's Shepard. Wow, again, Shepard right through the middle in 3 and 4, the same place he passed Sammy down in the bottom of 1 and 2, getting all that moisture down there on the 2.
And he's got his good motor in tonight, indeed.
And I know that surprised Sammy and Kenny Jacobs when they're up there running where they think they're supposed to be, and a guy drives by and leaves you like that on the bottom. That's dominance.
Well, you wonder if Sammy might have misjudged the racetrack here a bit.
Well, it's like a few of them might have, other than maybe Shepard.
And the Wild Child up front.
Look at that. Shepard again on the bottom off the floor. Look, right, moved up and on Hodges, had to breathe the throttle just a little bit there.
What a show by Jeff the Jet.
Wow. 4 laps to go.
Yep, 4 to go.
I don't think he has enough time unless there be a caution to run Hod down, but
Jeff Shepard, an interesting guy, fun guy, a lot of personality.
the 6 heat race winners will go directly into the dash tonight, so it's critical. You got to run the top 3, but if you win the heat race, you go right into the dash.
Oh, yeah. 2 to go. 2 to go for the Wild Child. Jack Hodgenschel.
Sammy pulling in.
Well, there was something obviously wrong with that car. He would have toughed it out.
And we got a caution.
Yep, we do. 22 car, that is James Chasson, the young man from New Jersey that runs so well at Williams Grove. First night that he's been here of the 3.
And again, not a lot of experience. It looks like you might have a flat left rear tire. That looks like some of the tire out there on the racetrack.
Official going out to pick it up. It's a lot harder to clean up dirt tracks than it is paved tracks because so much often debris gets down into the dirt and you can't even see it. The Williams Grove Speedway fans, a whole group of them.
We will be out there in a couple weeks on TNN.
Looking forward to it. One of those historic racetracks that you just love to visit. Scenic.
Oh, you talk about history too. I mean, Tommy Hendershitz and those guys back then, a lot of history there.
But mostly this is a Buckeye Hoosier crowd.
Yeah, it's on the Hoosier border, Indiana-Ohio border, so.
Coming up Sunday on TNN, the ASA drivers make their first visit to Chicago Motor Speedway. And it should be quite a challenge for these teams that have never even seen this track. It's a new 1-mile track that is shaped like a paper clip with long straights and tight turns. Don't miss the USABeats.com 200 Sunday at 3 Eastern and Pacific right here on TNN. Down to Sammy's pit. What do you think, Brad?
Some sort of engine trouble. That's the fuel injector air cleaners they're working on.
These are very simple fuel injectors, direct port injection. Okay, here we come down for green with just 2 laps remaining in heat number 1. Can Shepard put a move on Hodgenschel? That yellow was fortunate for him. Look at this down low on Shepard. The crowd going crazy. The Wild Child, Ohio native, and Jeff Shepard.
Well, it's been down in this corner.
Look at this.
Passing, and there he goes. The Hod's coming right back on the outside. Now, Hodgeschild had to have seen him, but he's going to run a little harder to lose every bit of that coming out of turn 2.
The Wild Child running up on the cushion on the straightaway, sweeping down into the turns. Oh, and Shepard gets sideways.
Got a little tap from Hodgeschild there.
Wow.
Shepard's going to win that one, but on the last lap, Hodgeschild misjudged a little bit, tapped him in the rear.
Would you have to say this is the upset of the last 3 nights?
Oh, man. To Hodgeschild leading that thing and be dominating. And I said earlier, unless he had a yellow, I didn't think Shepard catch him. And boy, oh boy, Shepard, I'll guarantee you, Steve, almost everybody in the pits will be down there looking at his tires.
Jeff Shepard. Mom, take a picture of this if you're watching at home. Jack Hodgenschel salvage second. Rocky Hodges goes right to the A. How about that? Kenny Jacobs with problems. Sammy Swindell, a disaster, who finishes 5th. A little bit of engine problems maybe on the Hodgenschel car.
Yeah, flat tire.
Oh,
Got a right front tire
okay.
flat. Now, that's probably the contact he made with Jeff Shepard. That was probably after Shepard passed him, but what he did going down the back straightaway, he let Shepard go by and he breathed the throttle and dove to the inside. Was going to try to split that Eldor slide job, but Shepard was so tight on the bottom he held his line and Hod couldn't get back under him.
And Shepard did a great job of maintaining control of his own race.
Sure did, because he was pretty sideways there.
Oh, man. The crowd's still a little bit stunned here, I think. Bobby Gerald?
Here is Jeff Shepard, and the question will be, what did he and Bonsai Bruns do to this machine in the last 24 hours to make it so fast?
Yeah, I don't know. The motor's running great. Bob Williams helped us out a bunch, all pro heads. The crew's got it going great. I don't know what happened on that last lap going into 3. I thought I was cleared on the inside. Hod tried to spin me out. I don't know what that was all about.
Well, I think he had a flat tire. That's the word. We'll find out more from Dave Argabright right now.
Well, here with Jack Hodgenschel, what happened on that finish right there?
Yeah, they had that restart there with 1 to go, and Shepard just got under me and got away from me, and we couldn't catch him.
You had a flat right front tire. When did that go down?
I tapped Shepard in the back end a little bit and flattened my tire.
Everything all right, though?
Yeah, it's fine.
Steve Evans?
Okay, thanks, guys. Well, bad luck for two of the top drivers over the weekend, Sammy Swindell and Jack Hodenschild. We'll be right back with heat number 2 concluded out on this racetrack. Let's show you the final lap. You Kinser fans will love it because Stevie may have problems, but 5M Mark Kinser, they're the Mopar car, took the win. 83. Danny the Dude Lasowski had to fight it out with number 9 Phil Cressman for the second spot, but the Dude got it. Cressman finished third. A local racer that runs very well there. Witness him going directly to the A feature, but that's the 5M car of Mark Kinser. We saw some smoke out of it, then it just cleared up on its own, healed itself. Yeah, Mark goes on to the A feature.
They've had that problem lately, but it doesn't seem to hurt them any.
No, it doesn't. Maybe just too much oil in the motor. And here's the Heat 2 results overall. Kinser, Lasowski, Cressman, Steve Kinser, Dean Jacobs. Now we go into heat number 3. Let's show you the grid for that. This could really be a good one, Brad.
Yeah, a lot of good cars. Tim Schaefer on the front row there. Brad Furr outside of him, a Sport Series runner. Andy Hillenberg, Delansky, Stevie Smith. Delansky, again, we saw that bad crash of his last night running with a sore right leg. Better the right than the left because he can run the throttle with a sore leg. You can't run the brake very well.
Absolutely. You're pretty much flat out around here anyway. Speaking of flat out, the green is out for heat number 3. The yellow car on the inside, that's Tim Schaefer. And we've got a spin to win.
Well, that's Jonathan Stevens.
Yeah, and that's going to bring out a yellow for sure. Let's go down to Dave Argabright.
Well, tough break, Steve, for Jonathan Stevens. He's an 18-year-old Chillicothe, Ohio driver. That car is wrenched by well-known mechanic Gary Deuce Turrell. So tough start to a young man's life tonight.
A lot of pressure here at the Kings Royal for a kid probably just right out of high school. But he's going to get back in it.
Yeah, but pressure is the word, especially in the heat races here. You know, Hodenschild talking about he treats this race like it's 1,000 to win. Well, he's the only guy in the world that can do that because I guarantee everybody else is thinking about the money and the pressure's there.
Do you think Jonathan did any damage to the car? I didn't think he even hit the wall, did he?
No, I think he got it stopped before he got up there, but he got tagged a little bit and didn't look hard enough to maybe hurt it too bad, Steve.
You were talking about the left-legged braking. How much braking do you actually use here?
Not a whole lot. If the track slicks up, sometimes you just ride the brake, try to keep the wheel spin to a minimum. But this is probably one of the places where you don't use the brake hardly at all.
Literally using the brake as an acceleration tool instead of a braking tool.
But the speeds are so great here that if you need that brake, you got to be able to get on it hard and try to stop that car if something like this happens in front of you where a guy spins.
Well, the accident last night was a good example. Obviously, Delansky never saw the
car. He didn't.
Let's go down to Bobby Jarrell. Speaking of Delansky.
Steve, we talked with Craig right before the start of this whole night of racing, and he was able to crawl up on top of his trailer and watch a little bit of hot laps. Asked him how much pain he was in. He said he is in quite a bit of pain right now. He also has a big, huge bruise up on his upper thigh, right where the femur would be. They originally suspected that he had possibly broken his leg, but the crew is lifting him in and out of the car, and let's just hope that there isn't a need tonight for Craig to have to get out of that car in a big hurry, because that's about the worst case scenario. Other than that, he says he's ready to go racing.
Well, and who this is really tough on, that was his wife standing there. And, you know, it's got to be tougher on her than him. You know, as a racer, you get in that thing, and you have the mentality, it's not going to, that's Chuck Merrill with Maxim there to her left. You have that mentality, it's not going to happen to me, and you just have to block that out of your mind and go racing.
And you can see she truly feels his pain.
Oh. Again, it's got to be harder for her than him. He's out there focused on what he has to do.
Still 10 laps to go in this third heat of 6. Tim Schaefer did not get a brilliant start the first time around. Let's see if he can improve on that. That's the 11H car, the Viper machine on the pole. Oh, baby. How about that 2 car, Brad Furr, the 2F machine? That's the red car. He is flying.
Yeah, but so is that black 2 right there. Just drove around Delansky, but Delansky come right back on the bottom. Hillenberg got under him and passed him, but Craig got right back with her battle back there. Now that's, Hillenberg just tags the wall a little bit. Shouldn't have hurt that race car, just a little bit of a glance there.
Yeah, these are pretty durable machines. The car out front, Brad Furr, there's no better equipment on the grounds. Just putting it together right and driving it properly.
Well, in experience, he doesn't have a lot of experience at any racetrack, but especially at Eldora.
Look on the inside, the slide. Oh, baby Tim Schaefer, what a beauty.
There's that slide job again, but look at this, Craig Delansky going for the lead on the bottom. Steve, this is incredible to see races won on the bottom at Eldora Speedway.
The number 7 car, Craig Delansky, seriously playing in pain as his wife looks on and says, oh, honey, don't hurt yourself.
She's probably relaxed a little bit now. He's out of traffic. He's by himself.
You know, I've seen a lot of athletes in many sports, including motorsports, play their best game or race their best race when they were injured. It almost takes your mind off it. You just go out and do the best you can to try to take your mind off it.
Yeah, and boy, he is right now as he's pulling away from him in this heat race. But again, right around the bottom, and his race car is working great. Now there's Hillenberg. Got to run off of Brad Furr down the back straightaway.
He's got to pass Furr if he wants that third and final transfer spot. Andy Hillenberg, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the black 2 car. Can he do it? Can he do it? We've got 4 laps to go.
Well, again, usually around the top, your momentum will carry you right by a guy running off the bottom, but he just can't seem to quite get it done.
That's Hillenberg, the black car. Furr, the red car, coming up on Tim Schaefer, the 11H Vibrant car.
Now, some might think, Steve, well, it's obvious it's shorter around the bottom of the racetrack. It's a shorter distance to go, but your speed is so much faster generally around the top. It's a momentum thing as Brad Furr goes the inside of Tim Schaefer.
Brad Furr currently in that third and final spot. Actually, Schaefer now. Good heat racing. Spectacular. There's Hillenberg.
Yep, now Hillenberg goes back to the bottom.
White flag is out. Just one more lap. Andy Hillenberg in that third and final transfer spot. That 2 car, that's the Luxair car. There's that 7.
Boy, Delansky's luck has been so bad. We saw him lose a race at Fargo. He won a support race last Monday. He wins his heat races in the A-Main. Maybe things are turning around for him, Steve.
Yeah, baby. I got to tell you, he deserved to win at Fargo. Just a punctured tire.
Yep.
Allowed Sammy Swindell to inherit that win. That was his all the way, Craig Delansky. What a gutty drive for this man. So Craig Delansky, Brad Furr, this is official. Andy Hillenberg, Tim Schaefer just misses the cut, and Stevie Smith will be going on to the B, I guess. Unbelievable. We've got 3 more heat races to come here at the Kings Royal. You know, if you think things can get rough here, and they have already, check out TNN on Sunday night. That's when you'll see a ton of fury unleashed, and the rider can only use one hand. It's championship bull riding from Bakersfield, California, Sunday night at 9 Eastern and Pacific, right here on TNN. I don't think I've ever seen as many banners in the stands as I have tonight. Some for us, and we appreciate it. A lot of them for the racers. I was talking before about this crowd. They really like their Buckeye Warriors, okay? Last night they almost tore the place down when it looked like Dale Blaney was going to pick up that win over Sammy Swindell. A little bit of heaven, all right. Dave Argabright, what you got?
Well, we're trying to get this helmet off. We're going to do this one while you're sitting down in here, Craig. First of all, you've got some laps now with that sore leg. How is it?
You know, it's just tough getting in and out of the race car and trying to get it bent far enough to run the throttle, but you know, once you get racing, you forget all about that. So, you know, I mean, hopefully we can keep this Caravan Polydome car up front tonight.
Is the bottom going to stay fast, do you think?
Well, you know, it's real slick out there right now, and, you know, it depends on how much they water it and what they're doing with it. So, you know, everybody's just going to have to keep an eye on the racetrack and see what they're doing and hopefully make the right choices with the race car.
He might be hurting, but Bobby Gerald, he won this race.
Yes, he did. And here's a happy young Californian that has just qualified for your first Kings Royal. How's that feel, Brad Furr?
It feels really good. You know, there's a lot of good guys out here, and we're real happy to make the show.
He doesn't have a lot of experience here, but he's getting the job done. Congratulations, Brad.
Thank you.
And this is such a big race that a lot of teams actually approach it a little differently than might just the average Saturday night show. We asked Dale Blaney what their team did specifically to get ready for the month of money and the Kings Royal.
You want to make sure you got your best stuff and give yourself the best opportunity to do well. We're going to have our motors running at the right point, you know, just maybe have 1 or 2 races on them and have your cars as fresh as you can get them and everything else as fresh as you can get them. But just give yourself the best opportunity to win some money.
Grueling, demanding, unforgiving. It doesn't get much tougher than the world of outlaws. It's all out. These machines take a beating. That's why these top drivers rely on Energy Release.
I use Energy Release in all my vehicles, my personal ones, my racing ones, and my toys. Energy Release is the only additive that you can put in your entire vehicle. We use it in the rear end, power steering, use it in the motor. Energy Release helps us to finish races and run up front.
Energy Release on the dyno has outperformed anything we've ever used. Once we put ER in, we have not seen any pitting of any ring gears, or the gears do not look like they've ever been used. I don't know how they made it or how they come up with it. I mean, somebody did their homework. You know, I use this in my race car And if this stuff does wonders in a race car, what's it going to do in your street car? I'm amazed. I mean, I really am. I never would have believed it until I tried it myself. Energy release. Don't mess around. Just get the real stuff.
Visit our website for a special limited-time free offer.
The city of St. Louis, home of the Arch, the Blues, and when the Bush Boys come to town, bet sheet metal. It's the CarQuest Auto Parts 250, July 29th at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on TNN.
Quality, selection, and service has made Joe Florek, Volkswagen, and Audi the #1 volume dealer in northern Arizona. And to say thank you, it's Customer Appreciation Days at Joe Florek, Volkswagen, and Audi. Everyone is guaranteed to be approved for a late model, low mileage car or truck, or receive $1,000 in cash, plus top dollar for your trade. It's our way of saying thanks for all the business over the last year. Joe Florek, Volkswagen, and Audi. Drive one away today. 1050 West Route 66 in Flagstaff. 1-800-564-0006.
Welcome to the Museum of Slow Things, where you'll find things that are slow by nature and others that are simply timeless. But some slow things can drive you up the wall, like internet access with a phone modem. What a bore. But that's history now, because ISP Channel connects you to the internet with a cable modem. It's 10 times faster. Order ISP Channel today and get a special introductory offer. Call now. ISP Channel. Everything else is history.
Get the money you need. Here at Eldora Speedway, a beautiful afternoon turning into a perfect evening. Here's the results of heat number 4 that was just run. Dale Blaney continues to master this racetrack with the Mopar 93 car. Donnie Schatz, Danny Wood, the final transfer spot. He is the Cinderella story, that 21W car, the low-budget little Pepsi machine. We'll see a lot more of him later on. Heat number 5 is already out on the racetrack. Let's take a look at the grid. Brad Doty.
Tim Kuhn, Rodney Duncan on the front row, Tyler Walker and Jim Neer second row, and there's Darren Pittman in fast time for this heat. Joey Saldana in the third row. Ronald Laney and Kent Walters in the back row.
Tyler Walker, the kid from California. He'll be one to watch. On the inside of the second row is the young girl swoon. Apparently we're going to idle around one more time. There's Tyler Walker in the car with the big apple up on the wing. It's a car that really runs mostly in Pennsylvania and selected outlaw events with Tyler on board the last few. Again, it'll be 10 laps. The top 3 will go to the A main. Darren Pittman's been running very solid this weekend, as has Joey Saldana. Witness the fact that the quickest car is on the outside, rather, the third row. These huge wing spread provide so much downforce, but also act as a safety instrument when the cars get upside down.
Actually, a safety cushion, yeah.
To absorb a lot of shock when the cars get upside down. Oh, maybe Tyler Walker going for a big start in that red car, the number 12 machine. The bright orange car with the apple brake red again.
Oh, and Saldana. Wow, look at this. Saldana went from the third row to leading this thing. This is the most dominant car we've seen all night long as he drives away. He went between those guys on the back straightaway. I didn't think you could get the front wing through there. He got the whole race car through that hole.
I'll tell you, Saldana, a rocket.
Wow.
How did he do that?
He just, that move he made out of turn 1 or turn 2. As I said before, you got to make things happen, Steve, on the first lap here, because it gets strung out and you can't make up for it. He just drove by all of them on the first corner.
Tyler Walker, another one of those drivers that likes to run up high. If the cushion's there, he'll go look for it. Diving down is the 3 car of Darren Pittman.
Oh, and it's Rodney Duncan in the 22 getting real sideways behind him there.
So up front is Saldana, Tyler Walker, Tim Kuhn in that order. That's your top 3.
I guess nobody told Saldana that everybody had been running really fast around the bottom. He went to the top and just drove by these guys. That's the more traditional line around here.
Challenging for the transfer spot is the 3 car, Darren Pittman, trying to take it away from Tim Kuhn, that 2C, the white machine, and he does.
Now later on, as the race goes long, the top usually comes in. It moves up a little higher, gets some of that dust blown off, and they start sticking a little better, and that looks like what's starting to happen now, Steve.
Well, this one is half over, heat number 5.
That's Joey's wife, Shannon. Boy, she roots and cheers for him, and big backer.
I'll tell you one thing, if you're a Harley fan, stop by Joey Saldana's pit someday. That's one of the most beautiful Harley I've ever seen. Understated elegance in a Harley Davidson.
My goodness, he is showing his dominance.
Well, he's going to be fun to watch as the night progresses. But right now, if he can keep it together for 3 more laps, Joey Saldana is going to be a serious, serious threat in the Channel Lock Dash in the A feature.
The big Star 811, it's a roadside assistance program. If you have a mobile phone, you can dial that for help if you belong to their program. And you have everybody behind them dialing, trying to figure out what he's doing.
The Tyler Walker continues to run second. White flag is out. Just 1 more lap here at heat number 5.
Boy, look how much racetrack he's still on the gas, running that thing right against the wall. Lapping the 12. Walter's there on the bottom. Joey makes it look easy. Look at this. Second place hadn't even come around yet.
Nope.
That's Pittman there in third. Tyler Walker was second, right there in front of him in the red car.
Everybody got their goggles on, their shields up. They expect to get a little dirty at Eldora. They'd be disappointed if they didn't get about an inch of mud in the bottom of their beer. Wow. That was an impressive outing by Joey Saldana and Tyler Walker and Darren Pittman. Tim Kuhn just does miss the cut. Followed by Rodney Duncan, Ron Delaney, Kent Walters, and Jim Neer. So that's heat number 5. Frankie Kerr fans. Frankie's got plenty of them. There's a lot of ways you can spectate Eldora. You can sit in lawn chairs, you can sit in grandstands or box seats. It's all your choice. That's what makes this place so magic. You know, Thursday night on TNN, it's another important arena football game. The playoffs are just around the corner, and both the Oklahoma Wranglers and the Grand Rapids Rampage need a win. Don't miss all the action. Get it all Thursday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific right here on TNN. And with it all from the pits is Bobby Gerald.
Joey Saldana just getting that helmet off, and that was one of the most amazing first laps I've ever seen, buddy, here at the Kings Royal. Can you try to take us back through that start?
Well, I tell you what, it looks like everyone was wanting to run the bottom, and I saw shots there in the last heat trying to run the top. And, you know, this place, if you want to run up front, you just got to go for it. And I just luckily made it. I don't know how, but we did.
It opened up, but it was narrow on the back chute coming off the 2, huh?
Well, I knew Tyler was going to be pretty tough, and he intimidates a lot of people, and I knew he was going to get them guys all screwed up. So if I got a good run, I was going to be all right.
Joey Saldana looking good. He is going to be in the dash.
Dave, last night, Tyler Walker, you struggled here at Eldora. Tonight looks a lot better. What did you change?
Well, last night we just kind of, you know, we got a real late qualifying number and went out late, qualified bad, and got a real bad start on a heat race, and it just kind of was backwards from there, and we couldn't make it up. And tonight we're going to have a pretty good starting spot in the A, and me and Lee, you know, we haven't been working together that long, and so it takes a little while to find that magic, and we're working on it, and hopefully we'll run good.
Steve Evans?
And Shane Stewart, Brad had his way with this one.
Yeah, he did. Up on a traditional high line, just using every bit of that racetrack and drove away from him, Steve.
Greg Hodden had picked up second with some much-deserved good luck. And old Ed Lynch in the 2L car got the 3rd spot. Let's go down to Dave Argabright with Shane.
Well, Shane, you made it look easy, was it?
I tell you what, we've struggled here the past couple days, and my crew's been working really hard, and that was easy. I tell you what, that was nice. I rolled around there really nice. I didn't struggle at all, and yeah, it looked as easy as it was.
What's it mean to already, this early in the evening, have your transfer spot nailed down?
To me, it's a tremendous load off my shoulders. I tell you what, like I said earlier, I've struggled here the past couple days, and I've been struggling mentally to get going around this track, and that helped me a bunch.
The struggles seem to be over tonight for Shane Stewart. Bobby Gerald?
Well, one guy who is struggling right now is Sammy Swindell, the driver of car number 1, struggling with his engines. They blew a motor in his heat race. He had to pull in, did not take the checkered flag. He did not finish. So that's going to put him behind the 8 ball all the way for the rest of the night. They have replaced their Gertie engine. Sammy is tuning it himself. As we've talked about several times, Sammy, not just a driver, he is also one of the very best mechanics out here on the Pennzoil World of Outlaws circuit. He will be ready to go the rest of the night, but again, guys, he's going to have a long way to go.
Sammy Swindell, if anybody can handle it, he can. Okay, for the benefit of these little kids, Brad Doty, let's dip into your email bag. There's future crew chiefs in that group. Here's a question you got emailed to you.
Okay, it's about moving the rear tire in and out the right rear. What that means is they'll move it all the way in toward the chassis, and what that does is put the static weight of the race car on that right rear. It helps tighten the car entering the corner. If they slide that big right rear tire out, it loosens the car and lets it slide into the corner further. So as the race goes on, they'll start moving it in further and further because the track gets drier and drier.
I'll tell you a track that never gets drier and drier, and that's Williams Grove in Pennsylvania. And we're going to be going there very soon. I tell you what, I can't wait to get to that racetrack because I love everything about it. I like the shape of the track, that paperclip shape that strings the motors. I like the amusement park next door. I like the stream. I like the cafe that's down the stream. We will be in Williams Grove on Saturday, July 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, TNN Live. You know, Danny Lasowski so far has had a pretty good afternoon, even though the previous 2 days weren't all that great. We asked him, what do you do to get ready for the month of money?
It really doesn't change at all because when I put my butt in that seat, I'm going for one thing, and that's to win. I love this sport. This sport's been great to me, and I'm real fortunate to be able to...
Heat races, well, they're down. We're waiting for the channel lock dash for the cars to be prepared for that channel lock dash. It'll be so important in setting the A feature. Bobby Kinser, have you got Mark Kinser? Bobby Gerald, do you have Mark Kinser?
Hey, you almost made me part of the Kinser family there. That would have been okay, because that would mean I'm fast, like Mark Kinser down here. Mark, this is one race that has eluded you. Now, you were awful good in your heat race. Can you win the Kings Royal tonight?
Well, I'd like to put that Mopar right up front. I've never been able to sit on the big chair and put the hat on my head. I've won a lot of races in my career, but I've never won this race.
Be pretty good for a hillbilly to get that crown on his head, right?
It'd be real nice. I could make some fun out of that for sure.
All right. Self-proclaimed hillbilly, Dave Arterbright.
Well, I don't know about hillbilly. You can call me whatever, but I'm here with Dale Blaney. Dale, you won that heat race, but what happened with the engine?
It hadn't run all night. Didn't feel like it ran hot lapping, and definitely didn't run qualifying. And heat race, it was just sputtering and missing. And track being so slick, it really didn't hurt me as bad. So we changed motors, and we'll see if that helps.
Well, sorry to cut this short, losing my battery. Dale Blaney up front in the dash.
I thought it was just your voice. You know, Bobby Gerald is our official video game guru, and earlier he filed his latest story on the Rat Bag project that's coming along fine.
Stevie and Paul, $1 million to win between you two here on the computer game for the best time. You ought to be pretty easy to beat, don't you think?
Well, I don't know. I run into him last night, so I'm going to try to pass him clean tonight. And he practiced a little more than what I do, but we're going to have a good time out here and see what comes out of it.
So you owe him one, huh, Paul?
Yeah, I think I'll get even here on the simulator. A lot easier on the body.
Our Rat Bag match race between Stevie Smith and Paul McMahon marked the first time the two drivers had a chance to test the new Pennzoil World of Outlaws sprint car video game. Now, McMahon's a video game freak, so Stevie came with excuses. He'd never played before, he couldn't see, so when he crashed early and had to race with a mangled wing, it played right into McMahon's hands. Uh-oh, does that mean you just flipped her?
Yeah, I've crashed her pretty hard. I can't see real well, but I'll get onto it here.
You're closing on him here, man.
I'm starting to get the hang of this a little bit. You got to run the bottom here in Eldora.
Now, I see that. You're down on the bottom. You're closing up on him. You got 4 of them in front of you. I want an Eldora slider.
Here we go.
Well, the results are in, and no, I'm not the trophy girl. 1489 for Paul McMahon, a 15-2 and a couple of bent race cars for Stevie Smith. But what'd you think of the game overall?
It was really cool. I tell you, I never drove anything quite like that. I had the one car totaled, so they had to reset the game and get me a new one. But I need a lot of practice here to keep up with Paul.
Now, you play the late model game a lot. How's the sprint car game compare?
It's real neat. I mean, it's a lot more realistic than the late model games. I've never been in a late model, but the sprint car game is very realistic. You got wheel stands, you tip the thing over, you drive the fence, you do the big Eldora slide. It's a lot of fun.
What do you think, Brad? Have you played it yet?
Yeah, I've been part of this thing, and boy, is it neat. It's so realistic, it's almost scary.
If you're looking for action on Wednesday nights, you've come to the right place. There's Magnificent Seven, 18 Wheels of Justice, and Dead Man's Gun. That's the theme, I think, from Dead Man's Gun. Don't miss a whole night of action every Wednesday starting at 8 Eastern on TNN's Action Wednesday. And you talk about action. A man who had plenty of it last night was Danny Wood in the 21W car. He ran the C, the B, and went from 24th to 8th in the A. We asked him how he got ready for all this.
This is the first year out here for these.
For Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. Absolutely gorgeous aerial shot. The platform camera of the Kings Royal Eldora Speedway in the tiny village of Roxburgh, Ohio, about an hour outside of Dayton. And on the racetrack, you can barely see them idling around, are the 8 cars for the Channel Lock Dash. In this format, there is just 1 dash. Normally, there are 2. And we'll get to that in just a moment. So there you see the 8 cars, and you see the pickup truck in front of them. Well, our ace cameraman Alan Ball from Kansas City is in the back of that Dodge Ram truck, and he's showing us Shane Stewart, the 9H car. All right, Shane, who told us it was easy winning his first heat, he made it look easy. Now this is Dale Blaney, the number 93 Amoco car. It is Mopar powered, and what a weekend he has had. First of all, there was last night when the tall one, Slim, as he calls himself, in the A feature had his fellow Buckeye fans hollering, screaming, jumping up and down in the stands as he tried to chase down the number 1 Channel Lock car of Sammy Swindell. He came up just a few feet short. And earlier today in heat number 4, it was Dale Blaney, that 93 car, taking the win, a flat tire, and then an engine change, Brad Doty.
Yeah, they blew the tire after the checkered flag and was able to change that engine in time to get out for the dash.
And here's the guy that's hurting, number 7, Greg Delansky. How's he feeling, Dave Argabright?
Well, Steve, Craig is holding up well, said his wife, Julie, but told me that on the pain scale of 1 to 10, right now he's probably about a 9. Ouch, that sounds like it hurts.
Oh, it does indeed. On the outside of row number 2, that is Joey Saldana from Indiana, the number 17 car, and he also had an easy go in his heat.
Yeah, he made it look easy running around the top. Went from the 3rd row to the lead very quick.
And let's go over to Mark Kinzer, the 5M car. Mark has also had to change engines after winning his heat race. That is the Mopar machine, the factory car. And come up and take a bow, Jeff Shepard. Jeff Shepard put on the most thrilling heat race of them all, Bobby Gerald.
Jeff Shepard has made the last 5 Kings Royal A feature fields make it 6 now. You know, he and his crew chief Bonsai Bruns actually considered sandbagging in qualifying. It's a good thing they didn't, Steve.
Oh, indeed. The sandbagging thing just never works out. Here's the 15 car of Donnie Schatz, and nobody likes Eldora Speedway these days than Donnie Schatz. The man from Minot, North Dakota, just a very young guy at the beginning of what should be a stellar career. And here is number 3, Darren Pittman. I've said it before, but this is the guy that's got it all. He's good looking, he's articulate, he's fearless, and he's got good equipment underneath him. And this could be his best shot to make some major headlines here tonight.
Looking for a major sponsor. They do have help from the ChiliBowl.com people, Lanny Edwards and Emmett Hahn, but they're looking for a major sponsor to stay out here on the road. But let me explain sandbagging real quick, Steve. The people that might not know, that's when they qualify. They might not go as fast as they think they can. They try to back out the throttle a little bit to go slower to get a better spot. Well, usually that backfires and end up missing it by a bunch and end up missing the inversion in the heat and ended up way in the back. So it's better just go out there and go for it.
Well, I'll tell you a guy that never sandbags, and that is Joey Saldana. In fact, we talked to Joy about just how, well, let's face it, cutthroat the competition can be out here in the big leagues.
They notice what's wrong with you, and they eat you up when they know what is your lowest point. And I think to race with these guys, hopefully I can get more aggressive to where I'm not near as easy to push around as I probably am right now. But, you know, when you're racing with champions like Mark Kinzer and Steve Kinzer, it's easy to get intimidated by what they've accomplished. So hopefully in time I can overlook that and get better as a race car driver.
What Joey has to remember, he won like 17 features with the All-Star circuit. He was the intimidator in that series, and he needs to get that frame of mind to get back with the Outlaws back here, and like he said, not get pushed around.
And with our onboard camera, it'll be the 93 Amoco car of Dale Blaney offering you this shot, and it's one he hopes he can keep uninterrupted with nobody in front of him. In just 6 laps, that is possible. You might not get into any kind of lap traffic when all 6 cars, or all 8 cars rather, are this fast. It'll be interesting to watch Jeff Shepard if he can come out of the outside of row number 3 as he did in his heat. That will be spectacular. On board for the start with Dale Blaney. And it's Blaney going down low. He made it work before. Yellow light is on. They're going to bring this one back, apparently. Something the starter didn't like. Doesn't appear to be any problem with any race cars. They're just going to line them up very quickly, 2 by 2. And somebody's probably going to get moved back, huh?
Yeah, Shane Stewart on the pole just didn't take off. I don't know if it stumbled or he thought that Blaney got too big a jump and he just stayed out of the throttle. I really don't know.
You can do that. You can kind of fake and get a restart. Doesn't always work, but occasionally you can make it look that way. Bobby Gerald?
Let's talk about Donnie Schatz. You know, guys, there's been a lot of engine problems tonight and a lot of mumbling and grumbling, a lot of tension in the pits. I just walked up to Schatz and I said, how are you guys working tonight, Donnie? And he said, great. I've never felt better at Eldora, and I'm getting better and better as the night goes along. So there's one guy who's optimistic about the rest of the evening, Donnie Schatz, here in the dash, guaranteed to start at least in the front 4 rows in tonight's Kings Royal.
Well, Bobby Jackson, World of Outlaw officials did put Shane Stewart back. Felt like he didn't take off and try to stay with Blaney on that start, so they moved him to the 2nd row.
So that changes the complexion of this 6-lap Channel Lock Dash just a little bit. With Shane Stewart now back.
Great for Craig Delansky, who is the point leader for the Gum Out Support Series, so good run for him this weekend also.
Craig Delansky driving with that injured right leg. Let's go on board with Dale Blaney one more time. Blaney on the outside, but look at the start by Craig Delansky. Delansky, the red car, unbelievable. Here comes the 93 Amoco car.
Oh, Saldana had a run on the 93.
Oh, it's coming down as the 17 car of Joey Saldana. Look at Saldana.
Boy, he looked good in that heat. He's looking good again in this dash.
Oh, man. Delansky and Saldana now coming down low is Dale Blaney. You see Mark Kinzer back there fighting for his life. It's a very short race, just 6 laps. Kinzer currently 5th.
Jeff Shepard on the outside of him there. Shane Stewart was in the 9, was falling back, and look at this. Joey Saldana's got a run on Delansky around the outside. Joey running Hoosier tires.
I'm telling you, the Goodyears dominated last night, but he looks, in fact, he was the highest placing Hoosier car last night.
Goodyears were the top 2. He was 3rd. Boy, and right now, the way the racetrack is tonight, that Joey looks fast on those Hoosiers.
Only 2 to go. Joey Saldana, Craig Delansky, Mark Kinzer, Dale Blaney. That's the top 4. They're strung out pretty well, and they finished that way. Oh, maybe not. Mark Kinzer on a charge down at the bottom.
The Hoosiers are historically faster at taking off on the start. Some say that as the race goes on, sometimes they slow down, but it is a 40-lap tonight, so we'll see what the feature brings.
But in a short 6-lap Channel Lock Dash, the Goodyears might be at a little bit of a disadvantage, if that's true. Oh, how about Delansky?
Yeah, Mark Kinzer got around him. So Joey wins this one, Steve.
Wow.
In a dominant fashion again.
Joey Saldana, Mark Kinzer, Craig Delansky, Dale Blaney. That's the top 4 as we wait for the official results, and here they are. That's right, that was the top 4. Jeff Shepard had a pretty good outing, 5th. Shane Stewart started on the pole, got bumped back to 2nd row and finished at 6th. Donnie Schatz, a 15 car, all the way back to 7th. We thought we'd see a better run out of him. And riding the tail, Darren Pittman in the number 3 car. Wrenchhead.com. With millions of brand name auto parts and accessories to choose from, it's easy to prove that you're a wrench head. Are you a wrench head? Wrenchhead.com. Parts online all the time. So you see all the transporters inside the huge infield here at Eldora Speedway. They carry all of the parts, and in these days you need an 18-wheel. You used to get by with a little pull-on trailer or a gooseneck trailer. You can't do that anymore. Your parts inventory just weighs too much and takes up too much room. Bobby Gerald?
Well, here's Joey Saldana, another dominant drive. We saw a little damage here to the front wing. What happened there, and what do you think about your chance to win the King Royal?
I mean, this is a dash. It's 8 laps, so, you know, if we can run 30 laps, 40 laps, whatever it is, it's tough. It's tough mentally. I think we got the car to beat, but you got to do it mentally, and that's the hard part.
What happened there to the front wing?
I think just we were working on in the dash, something in the heat race, something was broke, and it finally just broke off in the dash, so we'll fix it.
All right, they'll fix it. He'll be ready to go on the pole, Dave Argebrook.
Well, Craig Delansky finished 3rd in that dash, but they left the engine running. Craig, is there a problem?
Yeah. It wasn't running right in the heat race there, and we thought we might have fixed it, but evidently we didn't. It's just laid down just a little bit, so we're going to check the timing, and hopefully we can get it running right for the feature.
How is the racetrack at this point?
The racetrack's in real nice shape. You know, they went out and put some water on it, and you know, right now it looks like it's going to be a pretty racy place. You know, I think they'll probably water it again before the feature, so, you know, hopefully we can run up front there tonight.
He's on crutches, but it's not slowing him down, Steve.
You can hear the pain in his voice, though. Craig Delansky. And he's a hero tonight for just doing this. As you look at some highlight shots from the Channel Lock Dash, we're going to take a quick break and be back with the B feature.
Are you ready to see yourself as others see you?
I didn't know it was so gray.
Now escape that old gray look with new Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Just for Men shampoos away gray in 5 easy minutes and now has vitamins. It brings back a thicker, healthier look that's completely natural.
I like what I see.
Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator.
Wendy's has a craving for a hot new sound. Enter Wendy's Search for Sizzling Sounds contest, brought to you by TNN and CMT. All you have to do is write an original song that captures your love for hamburgers, like the ones you get at Wendy's. That classic combo of hot and juicy beef with your choice of crisp toppings. Just rush to Wendy's for all the details, or enter online at sizzlingsounds.com. If you win, you could be flying to Nashville to have your song professionally produced.
Wendy's, search for sizzling sounds.
Sponsored by TNN and CMT.
Yeah, show me the money, I'm telling you. Oh boy, come on.
It's the age-old test of man against beast. Don't miss Championship Bull Riding from Bakersfield. Sunday night at 9 Eastern and Pacific on TNN.
For the first time on television.
Who are you?
First things first. Order in Bond.
Can't you just say hello?
At Eldora Speedway, as racers from the Dash frantically get ready for the A feature. But first, we're going to have the B feature just a little bit. They're just now kind of pushing out and getting warmed up. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
Well, and Steve Kinser is still going to have to transfer through the B main. Steve, after the heat race, you finished fourth. What'd you guys change here now to get ready for the B?
Well, we just changed the car a little bit. Just see if we can get in there and hang in there in the top 4 and get us a midfield starting spot, I guess.
All right, Steve Kinser. Sounds like Dave Argabright, Steve Kinser's feeling like a lot of these other guys. A little anxiety right now before the B.
Well, right now, Stevie Smith is on the pole of that race, sitting quietly, waiting to be pushed off. Stevie, on the pole, is that where you want to start?
Well, it helps to start up front. There's no question. So we'll take this. I wish we were in the A, but we got to get there first.
Are you happy with your car at this point?
Well, not right now. It wasn't very good in the heat race, so we made some changes, but they watered the track, so I'm hoping we made the right ones.
Right now, it's a guessing game, Steve Evans.
It is indeed, but it's an all-star B feature. None of them want to be there, especially Steve Kinser, but that's just kind of the way it works. You know, another driver we talked to about getting ready for this fairly lucrative month of money that starts tonight was the man in the 5M car, Mark Kinser, who's currently 3rd in outlaw points.
Well, you got to be totally focused on the job at hand. You know, and the team, they'll do things that they normally don't do. They'll check and recheck things that they're sure that it's all right to begin with.
CDs or 4 cassettes, plus $4.99 shipping and handling to 100 Kid Songs, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280.
We're back live, Eldora Speedway on TNN. 2 races remain. The B feature and the Kings Royal A feature. Any other night, any other racetrack, this B would look like the A, Brad Doty. Stevie Smith in the front row alongside of Sammy Swindell. Steve Kinser in the B feature. He's got to place in the top 4 here. He misses his first ever Kings Royal unless he takes a provisional to the back. Johnny Herrera, Kenny Jacobs, Dean Jacobs, and the hits just keep on coming.
Yep, Rob Chaney, Brian Ellenberger, Rodney Duncan, Tim Schaefer, Tim Kuhn, these guys in the back, I mean, they've really got their work cut out for them with those heavy hitters on the front row.
And how long, you ask, is the B feature? It is 15 laps. You've got to be in the top 4. Here we are on board with the Shavers car, as everybody just kind of tries to get lined up. Johnny Herrera. We talked to him about his season to date. Is he happy with what he's accomplished? Probably not, is my guess.
You know, everybody that is doing well, I expected to do well. Some of the teams, like myself, probably Donnie Schatz, there's some teams out there that I expected that would be a lot more consistent, including myself, that are struggling also. So there's been a mixture of, it's been a bunch of highs and lows. There's only been about 2 or 3 guys that are really consistent, and the rest of the guys are just kind of all over. So it's up for grabs still, you know.
Johnny Herrera won here Thursday night. His car owner, Craig Cormack, was en route to the speedway while the A feature was going on. He checked in, got his pit pass, came down the hill just in time to see number 20 take the checkered flag. He didn't even know they won. They did win. We're going B-main racing.
Johnny Herrera gets a great start. Sammy Swindell, the master of the start, was just a little tardy. But But you see Sammy, the blue Channel Lock car, now in second place, but sweeping down underneath Sammy in the third spot is Johnny Herrera. Dave Argabright.
Steve, not only did they lose an engine earlier, they bent a torque tube while qualifying. That means the entire driveline on that car is brand new. The question is, with all that work on the mechanical, did they get the setup that they wanted? Steve?
He's talking about Sammy Swindell. That's number 1 car. Steve Kinzer in the final transfer spot right now, number 4, but a distant number 4, and he's falling back, Brad.
Boy, look at this, a three-way for the lead. Herrera again on that bottom. Oh, and he squeezes up there. Coming out of turn 2, Stevie Smith still holds on.
Formation flying up front. This is as good as it gets on the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. 3 superstars fighting their way back from poor performances in their heat races. Stevie Smith, the coilover car, Johnny Herrera, Sammy Swindell. It's a match race. It's a 3-car match race.
Stevie Smith's car looks a little bit loose, Stephen. There, one of the only few teams that don't run a wing slider. It's a cockpit adjustable, so the driver can move it back. They do it because they think it's heavy. Sometimes I think it hurts them.
They don't run it because it weighs a little bit. On the Schaefer car, 11H Viper machine. He's currently back in the 9th spot. Still up front, it's Johnny, Stevie, and Sammy.
Steve Kinzer in 4th. Jacobs right now in 5th. He's got to get up another spot. There's Sammy got a run on Johnny Herrera down the back straightaway.
We've seen Sammy on the Goodyears charge late in the race, and here is Kinzer charging on Stevie Smith, the 19 car. Kinzer, the 11 Quaker State car. Got an email the other day from a fan. He says, there's a big Pennzoil man. They sponsored the series if Stevie wins in the Quaker State car. The answer is no. They're both owned by the same company. It's win-win. Sammy Swindell carves his way between them. Look at Herrera fight back.
Herrera just turned the car, drove right down, and got some momentum down off the hill, down that banking.
As Johnny said in that soundbite, it's not over yet. Oh, Sammy, the master of car control. Paybacks are, you know what.
Again, this is a battle for the lead, but all they have to do is run the top 4 to get their time back in the A.
And here's the battle for the transfer spot between Stevie Smith and Kenny Jacobs.
Well, that's Dean there in the 8th, and Kenny Jacobs. Our score says that's 5th and 6th back there. They got to get around Stevie Smith up in 4th transfer.
11 laps are down. Just 4 remain in this star-studded B feature.
Oh boy, little brother Dean sliding up, and Kenny had to get out of the throttle and bang him a little bit. Now he goes back and going to slide up. Now he gives him room, and Dean goes around on the outside. Brian Paulson, Brooke Tatnall's car there in the 6th, Steve.
Absolutely. And up front, Sammy Swindell now has the lead as they come into traffic over Johnny Herrera and Steve Kinzer.
Boy, traffic can hurt you at this racetrack more than probably any racetrack, Steve, because it's so fast. Such a momentum track. You have to look so far ahead and plan your moves. If you breathe the throttle and slow down too much, guys will pass you. It just kills your momentum.
That's why the closing speeds can be so great. The white flag is out coming out this lap. So Sammy Swindell trying to hang on as he did last night. Only this time it's not the B feature, it's the A feature. And Sammy has won it, rather it's the B feature tonight. Your transfers are Johnny Herrera. That's Amy Swindell looking a little bit relieved and confused all at the same time. The Sam Man, the man from Tennessee. So it'll be Swindell, Herrera, Kinzer, and Smith. Wow. Directly to the A feature. Kenny Jacobs, well, they'll be done.
Yep. Dean Jacobs also.
Yeah. And Sammy already back at his transporter. They waste no time whatsoever. So Sammy could start as far up as what, like 9th, the way I look at it, in the A feature, right? About that. Dave Argabright, what you got, bud?
Well, Sammy didn't want to talk when he got out of the car. Very angry. Tossed the steering wheel, threw the belts off, shrugged his shoulders, and walked into the trailer. They're taking the hood off the car. There's apparently a problem. Sammy doesn't want to talk right now. We'll try to take a look here and see what they're doing. They're just going to pull the cowl, maybe another engine. He may have seen something on the dash that he didn't like on those gauges. Boy, that's a tough break. Tough break. Steve Evans?
Well, I've been in your position when Sammy Swindell is under the gun. He doesn't talk much when things are good. When things are bad, he's a mute. Stay with us. We're going to be right back, and you know what's coming. The A feature and the build-up to it. We'll be back live on TNN.
Are you embarrassed by unsightly spider veins that discolor your legs? Introducing Vanish, the Swedish vein therapy formula, a revolutionary new treatment proven to actually repair and diminish ugly spider veins. Not a cosmetic, not a cover-up. Vanish has been successful in 90% of all cases. The patented formula has been clinically tested and proven to effectively eliminate or reduce unsightly spider veins with regular use. Look, spider veins are actually clogged veins. The blood is trapped in the vein near the surface of the skin. You see a nasty pattern, but just rub the Vanish into your legs. It stimulates the blood vessels beneath the surface of the skin, reducing the appearance of spider veins. In just weeks,
Motorsports. If it races, it's on the hour-long race day. Sunday morning at 11 Eastern on TNN Motorsports. ECW Wrestling in the Thrill Zone on TNN. A last-minute save by the network prevents the Sandman from taking the heavyweight title. ECW Wrestling, Friday at 8 Eastern on TNN.
And then there was one. Just one race remaining at the Kings Royal Eldora Speedway, and that will be the Kings Royal itself, also known as the A Main or the A Feature. One thing we know for sure, it's worth $50,000 for the winner. Dave Argabright is on top of the Sammy Swindell story.
Steve, heartbreak for Sammy. Second engine they lost tonight. The problem is right at the conclusion of that B, gives them very little time. The real difficulty is their spare engine, after changing the one earlier, is installed in their spare car up in the attic of their trailer. So you can see the steam there. They're pulling the hoses off. They got to get that top wing off to get a winch onto that engine and pull it out of there. They're working furiously. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to make that kind of a change. Brad, what kind of a thing what does this do to your mind as a race driver to have to deal with this in a clutch situation like this?
Well, these guys are professionals. This is how they make their living, and this is cutting into their income. Not only the cost of these engines that are blowing up, but the cost of losing the $50,000. You might not have a shot at it. But it just takes, if they do get the car ready, the engine ready, it takes all their focus away from the chassis setup and the tire combination, the things that are critical to go fast at Eldora.
Well, Sammy's had two absolutely trouble-free nights, Thursday and Friday, and now it all turns bad on him. Bobby Gerald?
Steve, Dave Argabright just talking about all those little things that you do to the chassis to get ready for a big race. Well, that's what Danny Lasowski's crew is working on right now. And Danny, working with those bars there at the back, how are we setting up our car for the Kings Royal?
Well, we're going to try a little Knoxville National magic, we hope. We're going to put it basically like we had it when we won in '98 and see how it goes, because as far back as we got, the only way we got to go is try to go to the middle and try to really take this thing to the front.
Now, I saw the 83 car up against the fence last night. That's not normally where we see the 83.
How about that? Did you see the dust flying too? Because when I come in here, these guys all pat me on the back, so I told you I can run the hill when I have to.
Danny Lasowski upstairs where Fonzie used to live. Steve?
Well, Brad, he compared Knoxville to here. Do they compare?
Well, to look at them, there's no comparison, but what Danny's talking about is running a big left rear tire and trying to get the car to run through the middle of the racetrack. Danny can run a bigger left rear and run the bottom like nobody else can that I've seen for years, so he might have a shot at it.
Amen. Well, Jeff Shepard has a chance of making some cash tonight and some outlaw points. Earlier, we talked to Jeff, the same subject. How did you get ready for the weeks to come, the big ones?
I'd say probably putting lightweight race cars together, hopefully getting a real good motor to run those 3 or 4 big.
If you like gritty in-your-face excitement, then you've got to have Sling and Dirt, the newest World of Outlaws action-packed home video. Call 1-800-428-6993 to get wheel-to-wheel action and the best tumbles, stumbles, and crashes. Dirt's flying as the Wing Warriors push it to the limit and beyond. Call 1-800-428-6993 to own Sling and Dirt for only $14.95. There's never been so much outlaw action, so call and order your copy now. That's Sling and Dirt. Call now or order online at DiamondPeteSports.com, your interactive pit pass.
A capacity crowd. 26 of the best wing sprint cars in the world. 40 laps for $50,000. That's the setup for the Kings Royal out on the racetrack right now as the Pennzoil World of Outlaws line up in the traditional 4-breast salute to the crowd. And the crowd here is rowdy. They like to have fun. They like to yell and scream, and we love them for it. Sweeping out of turn number 4. Getting set up for the A feature. Bear in mind, 9 of the top runners, the first 9 cars, have never won the Kings Royal. We may have a new king on the throne when these 40 laps are done. Let's do the grid. Joey Saldana, how excited is he, huh? Starting that 17 car on the pole. Mark Kinzer alongside him. A good bet to be the new king of the 5M Mopar. Craig Delansky, another good bet. Dale Blaney, the best shot he's ever had at it. Jeff Shepard, Shane Stewart. Brad, as we go through this, it's amazing that no one who's ever won this race could crack the top 9.
Isn't that something? Again, we probably have a new time winner, and that'd be great to see. Spread the wealth around.
Danny Lasowski, he said he's going to run low. He's going to try to set it up as he did for Knoxville when he won in 1988. Bradford, great equipment, limited experience. Tim Schaefer, the 11H car, the Vibrant car, had to take a provisional. Dave Argabright.
Well, Steve, Sammy Swindell borrowed an engine from Eldon Racing, Jack Hoddenschild's team. His team made an extraordinary change in just a few minutes. He lost his starting spot. He's starting on the tail because he couldn't present his car in time for the allotted time for the push off. His wife, Amy, told me moments ago, frankly, she's concerned about this situation because they're not sure they got everything hooked up on that race car. A lot of drama in the Channel Lock pit.
Sometimes it's as hard on the wives as it is on the drivers themselves and the significant others. Coming around for a start of the Kings Royal. Who will it be? Pick your favorite. Joey Saldana off with the lead. Everybody survives the first half lap. Saldana, the 7 car of Delansky.
Delansky, we talked about that pain earlier, about being about a 9. I guarantee in this race car right now, it's probably about a 1. He doesn't probably even notice it right now.
It'll be interesting to see exactly what the other Mopar car, Dale Blaney, has for this crew. He's in the 4th slot right now. On board with Dale Blaney with 38 of 40 to go. So far, it's clean. It's green. But anything can happen. And as this race goes on, the biggest worry will be punctured tires. There's Sammy Swindell. He is charging from the back.
Yep, Sammy's up to about 15th or 16th already, so he is charging the back.
He's already passed 10 cars in just 4 laps. Here's the second place fight. Mark Kinzer, Craig Delansky.
Mark going around Delansky down in turns 1 and 2. Got a caution. Looks like Dean Jake.
Just before the caution came out, smoke out of the borrowed engine from Jack Hoddenscheld in the #1 Channel Lock car. And here's a live shot of Sammy. We're still under caution. Go down to Dave Argabright, who's been following this story.
Well, Steve, it could well be that that's a loose oil line that brought all that smoke. Again, with the thrash, they didn't get time to get everything tight. But during that last engine change, engine builder Earl Gertie told me that he suspects the electrical box is a problem in that car. The first 2 engines melted the #1 piston. He thinks it's electrical. However, with the thrash, they did not have time to change that electrical box. Earl predicted that it may well fry this engine as well. The next few laps are going to be very dramatic for Sammy Swindell.
Well, Sammy's right foot may be frying, and he passed 9 cars in the first 4 laps. I mean, the man is himself on fire. Bobby Gerald, what's with Donnie Schatz?
Donnie Schatz having a good night tonight in car number 15, continuing to run in a static position right now, hoping to move up as this race continues. But again, he said as the race goes, he's been getting better. Of course, Frankie Kerr helping him out this week.
That was a terrible picture of Donnie Schatz, that headshot. He's much better looking than that. I'd force a new headshot if I was him. Here we come. It's the restart. They've now said there's only 3 laps complete. Joey Saldana leads him down to turn #1 and immediately goes up high. Craig Delansky, the red car, just behind him. The 7 car.
Well, the story here, both these front runners on Hoosier tires, the 2 right behind them on Goodyears. It'll be interesting to see as this race goes on and track gets a little drier, how this tire battle.
As you mentioned earlier, though, the Goodyears seem to like a longer run.
Yeah, the Hoosiers generally take off when restarts better and run earlier in the race. Boy, Mark Kinzer's already got his wing pulled way back, so he's a little felt that car's loose.
Dale Blaney tried to challenge Mark Kinzer, couldn't make it work. It's still up front. Oh, and here is Andy Hillenberg and Steve Kinzer. Kinzer, the 4-time winner of the Kings Royal.
Again, look at that extreme lines. Andy right tight on the bottom and Steve around the top.
Kinzer is currently 12. Now he's 11.
back of Danny Wood.
And what a Cinderella story he has been this weekend. I think every fan in the place hope he finishes up as high as he possibly can to keep him out on the road.
He gained a lot of fans with that run last night through the alphabet. Steve going underneath on the bottom of Darren, get by Darren Pittman.
Oh, Darren Pittman is racy tonight. Look at this, right back up alongside Kinzer. And here for the lead.
Boy, see what happens here with Joey Saldana. Now he knows that Mark got under him, but Joey's car's getting loose.
Now here's where it gets tough. They're coming into traffic almost side by side. Saldana and Kinzer. Kinzer nudges in front.
But look how far back Mark's wing is compared to Joey. Sure, Joey has an onboard wing valve that he can move his back too.
Well, he better grab it.
Yeah, he better be getting a hold of it because he definitely is loose. Mark Kinzer's getting faster.
And Mark Kinzer has far more experience in traffic than Joey Saldana. Far more. And traffic is a chess game. You can't think about your next move with maybe 2 or 3 ahead of that.
Yeah, but Joey Saldana probably has had a little more success, especially in the other series here at Eldora. Again, this isn't Mark's favorite, but maybe if he'd happen to win this Kings Royal, he would turn that around also.
Oh, yeah, 50 grand can raise your mood considerably. Here's Schatz and Kinzer. This is for
7th and 8th.
Yeah.
Steve just got into 7th around Schatz. Looks like there's quite a bit of, not necessarily moisture, but some racetrack left up there on the top coming out of turn 4.
Here's the leaders into traffic. Mark Kinzer now on the point. Saldana staying right with him, keeping pace.
Well, you can see that shot. He's actually getting away from Saldana.
Boy, Saldana went down low there and scrubbed up a bunch of speed.
Boy, again, Mark right through the middle, right where he wants to be. He's in pretty safe shape. We're not running that wall, not taking any big chances.
Carl Kinzer, the classic pose with his arms folded, intently watching this.
Now look at this. Dale Blaney going after Saldana for second.
Yep. Dale Blaney also on the Goodyear tires.
Exactly.
Off the back of Blaney's car.
You saw what he did there. He put that slide job, and that showed the in-car camera. He just slid up in front of Joey and took the line, but Joey was able to get a run back. But look at that, right off the bottom, Dale just goes by. It does look like Saldana is getting looser and looser as this race goes on.
In these 40-lap features, the last 10 laps can change the entire complexion of it, and we're just 8 away from reaching that point.
That seems to happen a lot. The last 10 laps of this race, drastic changes have happened.
Steve Kinzer charging, getting more and more points, getting closer to the front. He's thinking right now as much about season-long points as he is winning this thing.
And that's going after Delansky there for 4th. Just put him in the 4th spot.
Delansky has to be weary, driving in as much pain as he has due to that accident last night, injured his right leg.
Steve has got to be happy starting 11th, and he is coming, Steve. He's coming up on Joey Saldana. Again, it looks like the Goodyears are really coming in as he's just driving right by people.
You're watching the master at work in that green and white Quaker State car. Kinzer up to 4th.
Well,
up to 4th. The man needs a yellow, maybe even 2, if he's to win his 5th Kings Royal.
That is exactly what he needs, Steve. Mark Kinzer so far up front that the only hope Steve would have would be for a yellow to bunch things up.
On board with Greg Hodnett, who has done a fine job of getting himself up into the 10th position, the V12 car.
Yeah, Greg started 13th. There's Sammy. Oh, look at this, splitting cars. Andy Hillenberg and Donnie Schatz.
And Sammy's up to 10th.
Whatever that smoke was, it seemed to have gone away, Steve.
Oh, yeah. It might again been just a little too much oil in the motor.
That puts him 9th. Salvaging some, much needed points here, Steve. If he hadn't made this race, it would have really hurt him.
It would have been a disaster. It's about 150 points to win one of these A features, and if you don't start, you don't get anything. You know, you could have a swing of 100
well, you get 75, Steve. If you just buy a pit pass, you do get 75 points, and it's for that reason. But he still would lose a lot of points.
Steve Kinzer continuing his move to the front. Does he have enough laps to pull it off? Mark Kinzer has lapped half of the field.
Donnie Schatz is running 9th, and Mark Kinzer is lapping him. That is incredible.
Oh, boy, I tell you, Lou Patain and the gang at Mopar are loving this at home.
But look, oh, look at this. He's coming up the lap, Sammy Swindell. But again, look, he's moved the wing back even further.
Yep. Can't get it back any further.
I'm really surprised a lot of these other guys don't have theirs back like that. It's they're obviously loose. Some of them slip sliding around.
It's spelled Carl Kinzer.
But the driver does that, though.
I know, but Carl tells you where to put it. Here comes Steve.
But when they're out there, Steve, with no radios or anything, it's all feel to Mark Kinzer, that driver, how much he wants that thing back.
I think he started pretty far back, actually. Steve Kinzer working his way towards the front, saying, where's the yellow? Where's the yellow?
Oh, look at this. Mark Kinzer.
Oh, Mark has shredded a tire, I think.
Flat tire.
Oh, this has happened so many times this year to the 5M car. And that has brought out a yellow, and that aids virtually everybody out there. Mark, who had a great shot, was 12 laps away from $50,000.
That's a $50,000 tire now.
Yep, it sure is. Great line. Let's take another look and see if we can see exactly what happened. It was probably a puncture. I pointed that out earlier. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, I don't think they wore it out.
No.
Right there, went down going in the corner. Something cut it, because I'm sure that the track's not abrasive enough.
Oh, and look how close that was.
But this puts
Andy Hillenberg just about tagged him.
If our score sheet's right, it should put Dale Blaney and Steve Kinzer in second.
Oh, baby. And here is our new leader. That is Dale Blaney, who came within a heartbeat last night of winning its second A feature of the year. Sammy prevented him from doing that off the back of the leader's car. A lot of people in this booth where we are came by and picked, including Rick Ferkel, the original outlaw, said this is Blaney's race. This is Blaney's to lose.
Well, Dale has won the historical big one, but never the King's Royal. But, boy, I'll tell you what, he's got Steve Kinzer, the king, right behind him.
But the good news for the Mopar folks is that now we've got Dale Blaney in front with the other Mopar engine. The bad news, of course, is that Mark is out. Let's go down to Bobby.
We're down here at the Carl Kinzer pit. Carl has just grabbed his right rear tire, and we do want to get a word with Carl, but right now we obviously have to step out of the way and let him change this right rear. It was a 25C Goodyear Eagle, and apparently it had a puncture, because just looking at the top of the tread, it really wasn't that bad. Carl Kinzer going to work on the one that's going to go back on it, and Carl, still 12 laps to go in this race, and I know that was a big heartbreaker right there, but they're getting ready to get this tire back on it.
Yeah, you
and we will still just stand back out of the way now as Mark gets a word with his father, Carl. Let's go to Dave Argabright.
Well, Bobby, rookie Brad Furr from California is on the move. Started 20th, has worked his way to 6th in his first King's Royal. So you talk about a kid that knows how to perform under pressure. This young guy from out west is really getting it done here at Eldora tonight.
Sanmina is a computer company I believe his family is involved in. He's got the best of equipment, I'll tell you that. Bobby?
Well, now here's Carl Kinzer, and I know that's just a heartbreaker for you, Carl, but you still have 12 laps to go, as good as you're running. What do you think?
I think we're in about 8th or 9th, you know, and anything can happen, and most usually does. So we had that Mopar hitting good, so just had a flat tire.
It was locked down on the racetrack.
It'll be a good shot till the end.
All right, Carl Kinzer jumping back up now. It looks like he's going to go back over to his perch and also take a look at that tire.
Remember that full moon I talked about?
Yeah.
So a Mopar falls out of the lead. Another Mopar inherits it, and there's only 2 of them in the field.
I'm a little surprised at Carl's attitude there, just maybe losing $50,000. He's pretty good at pretty high spirits there.
I was going to give the brave move of the race to Bobby Gerald for that first attempt at interviewing him. That's a good way to get a tire running across the head. So, give it to you again. It's Dale Blaney, Steve Kinzer, Joey Saldana. Oh, what a race he's had. What a weekend he's had. Craig Delansky. Oh, this could not line up any better than it is right now. Good.
Again, nice run for Brad Furr, being his first King's Royal. But on board with Tim Schaefer, you know, we talked at 9 cars in front. We thought for sure we'd have a first-time winner, but Steve Kinzer right there in second. We can't count him out. That is
Tim Schaefer, the Vibrant car, his second full year as a touring outlaw, has dropped back to like 20-something. Okay, we're coming down for a start. Dale Blaney, his brother Dave, looking on in the pits. Kinzer goes low. Oh, and we've got a nasty one. Turn 2.
Shane Stewart and Jeff Shepard.
Two cars involved.
You can see Shepard moving around in the car.
Yeah, this will bring out a red flag. This will stop the race. With 28 laps to go, our biggest concern right now, of course, is the drivers. These are well-built race cars to the rules prescribed by the World of Outlaws. No worries about Schaefer. Our worry now would be with the other car.
That's Shane Stewart right there.
There's Shane, he's out.
He's out of the car.
Taking his helmet off under his own power. So with this race stopped, it won't take long to clean this up. They're very, very good at getting all of this off of the racetrack. So the fans are going to take a break, and we will too. Come back for the final 28 laps of the Kings Royal.
Watch closely. This amazing titanium tip drill bit is actually moving sideways to do what no other drill bit could ever do. It's yours when you put the power of titanium in your hands with Titan Master XL. The amazing new titanium tip drill bits that are so strong they'll never wear out. Guaranteed. Titan Master XL drill bits fit any drill, and their titanium tips give them the indestructible power to cut through virtually any surface. When you order your Titan Master XL drill set, you'll get 17 titanium tip drill bits of all sizes. Use them on wood, masonry, drywall, metal, you name the job, and Titan Master XL has it covered. You'll also receive the amazing Titan Master XL drill saw. They're
currently under what they call an open red. That means they can do anything in the cars they want except put tires on them, right? Bobby Gerald, how's Shane Stewart?
Well, Shane Stewart is doing all right. He's sitting down here getting a quick breath. It's easy for me to say you're doing all right. How are you?
I'm okay. Mom and Dad, everybody back home, I'm fine. Man, I was doing so good. I just got in there a little too hard, and the front end got into the wall, and that was all she wrote.
Did you get a chance to look at your race car?
It's hurt pretty bad. You're going that fast and you crash here, it's generally unsalvageable. So
glad to see Shane Stewart is all right. Dave Argabright?
Well, here with Jeff Shepard. Bobby, Jeff, you said you're all right, a little bit shaken. What happened?
We went into turn one on that restart, and I saw Stewart go straight for the fence, so I kind of turned to go low, and Schatz turned to go low at the same time. And when Schatz come down, I run into the side of him, and somehow he disappeared, and I ran right into Stewart wide open right in the side of his race car and destroyed our car and just made a hell of a mess.
He's a very disappointed young man here. Jeff Shepard had a good run going. Steve?
Let's have a look at it, Brad Doty. Tell us what you see. Often the driver is incorrect when he tries to analyze one of these things.
Yeah,
let's see how accurate Jeff the Jet is.
Oh, boy. Stewart had already started to crash there. And again, Schatz was on the outside of Jeff Shepard. He couldn't turn and try to go around him on the outside. He was so committed and just slammed right into him. Well, that's what happens on a restart, Steve. All these cars bunch up going in the corner, and sometimes the right rear tire leaks down. They have bleeders on these things that let air pressure off as it builds up.
Sure.
Sometimes right under yellow, they'll leak down and it'll stick the car so tight it won't turn to go in there and hit the wall, and this is what happens.
Let me give you an amazing number here. There are 8 cars still on the lead lap, have accomplished 28 laps. Number 8 in that group is Mark Kinzer. That's how big a lead the 5M Mopar car had. It is still on the lead lap in the 8th spot with 12 laps to go. Now you know why Carl Kinzer wasn't totally down in the dumps. They do legitimately have a shot still.
I'd say it's a long shot, but it's $50,000 that's still worth going for, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention these season-long points they so badly need because they got pushed back into 3rd last night. Wednesday night, make sure you check out the new episodes of 18 Wheels of Justice. Federal agent Lucky Vanas brings in the bad guys with his high-speed, high-tech big rig. Yeah. Check out 18 Wheels of Justice every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, a part of TNN's Action Wednesday. Down to Dave Argabright. He loves Action Wednesday.
Hey, I like Action Saturday. This is enough action for the rest of the week, Steve. Just spoke with Scott Gherkin before that restart, crew chief for Steve Kinzer. Asked him, are you guys all right? And he said, oh, yeah. But now with all these changes that are going to be made on the racetrack, it's a whole new race. The next few laps are going to be very dramatic. Steve?
It'll also set up as a Hoosier tire, Goodyear tire battle. Blaney on the Goodyears, Steve on the Hoosiers. Okay, guys, hang in there. Keep your enthusiasm level up. We're coming back.
Grueling, demanding, unforgiving. It doesn't get much tougher than the world of outlaws. It's all out. These machines take a beating. That's why these top drivers rely on Energy Release.
I use energy release in all my vehicles, my personal ones, my racing ones, and my toys. Energy release is the only additive that you can put in your entire vehicle. We use it in the rear end, power steering, we use it in the motor. Energy release helps us to finish races and run up front.
Energy release on the dyno has outperformed anything we've ever used. Once we put ER in, I mean, we have not seen any pitting of any ring gear.
Laps that are left for the $50,000 Kings Royal. If you look at Dale Blaney, the driver of the 93 Amoco car, you think this guy has got to be an athlete, maybe even more so than a race car driver. Well, we talked to Dale about his athletic background. It's pretty darn extensive.
Any kind of sports you play, I think is a big help. It's all competition, and that's what it's all about. I've been in competition my whole life, from 7 or 8 years old playing baseball to high school basketball and college. So anytime you can be in competition, competing against people, I think it's definitely helped. When you get out on the racetrack, it's just second nature. Dave and I grew up with it, so we're just used to it.
And here is Dale Blaney's brother Dave, the two-time champion here. I almost forgot who you were. You haven't been at these dirt tracks for a while. What'd you tell your brother?
I didn't tell him anything. He wanted to know if he, where he thought he was the fastest on the track, and I said, I don't know. It's 50-50 right now. Hopefully we made the car a little better for him and he can get away.
All right. Any final wishes for him? Any final words of advice?
It's up to him.
All right. We'll see what he can do. Dave Argabright.
Well, Bobby, Craig Delansky, we said earlier, playing in pain with that injured leg. This has to work against him. All these laps and these breaks, these stoppages of the race, long race already, he's got to be suffering in that cockpit, Steve.
Oh, I imagine he is. Obviously not on any painkillers here. That would dull his senses, but I think when this race is over, it'll be right to the pharmacy, buddy.
Well, you heard Dave Blaney say, and that's on this.
I heard him say, I don't know.
Yeah, but they changed the car, and on these open reds like this is where the crew can win the race for these drivers. They send the driver out. It's up to him to try to win this thing. This gives them a second chance to try to pull this thing off.
You get a look off the back of Danny Wood's car at this exceptional racetrack. It got a good drink of water, pretty thirsty surface just before going to this A feature, and it's holding up beautifully. And up to, where's Danny Wood? I mean, he's up there pretty well. About 8th spot. Wow, the 21W car. Sammy, we're told, is in 6th now. Dave Argabright.
Now we're going great.
Dale Blaney. Wow. Who won $100,000 here in 1998 at the historical Midland, would like to add 50 to that total. Ka-ching.
Wow. The train changes they made so far are sure working.
Oh, baby.
My goodness.
Gone like a shot. Even Steve Kinzer sitting behind him's got to go, what is this deal?
You know, and this is relatively a rookie crew chief and crew on this team at first year with the World of Outlaws, and they just made the right changes to that car. Andy Hillenberg moving up there.
Yep, Hillenberg's coming up. I'm not going to tell you that there's Hillenberg, the black 2 car from Mineral, Oklahoma.
That's Brad Furr there, right there, the red number 2 on the bottom.
They're running about 5th and 6th and 7th.
We got a caution.
You know, at this stage for 50 grand, a lot of drivers start pressing, and that could bring out a few more caution flags.
Hodshield down in turns 4.
Yep, Jock Hodshield, who's had such a great weekend, couldn't quite get into the winner's circle, but was so very, very close. So Working Woody is going to put him in the pits. So it'll be a very short yellow. Pace car already out. Now they can make any kind of repairs they want here, Brad, and try to get back out here to salvage some position.
Yeah, if they can get back out before they... You see Hod waving there before they go green, I was going to say, but you see Hod waving there. He's wanting to hurry up and get back to the pit. So whatever it is, he thinks he can maybe get it fixed and get back out.
Here's your onboard shot off of the Tim Schaefer 11H 5-ring car.
Shows Tim in 11th spot.
I'll tell you, 10 laps to go for 50 grand. There's Steve Kinzer. Bobby, what you got?
Well, we're down here with Dana Kinzer, and Dana, I know you were with Steve on the red flag out there on the racetrack. What was he saying? What's his mood like?
Just wanted to know how many laps were left, and he doesn't say too much. He's sort of got his game face on. And
what do you think of his chances here? Dale looks pretty strong.
Dale's pretty strong. and he's getting us on the start pretty bad, so let's just hope we have enough laps to get up there again. So.
I think Steve Kinser's team hoping for traffic, guys.
Very good observation by Dana Kinser, who's seen her share of sprint car races. Let's remember, Steve had to come out of the B feature. If you've just joined us, he has not had a good night. But he's fixing to try to make it a little better. And already he's scoring a tremendous amount of points to retain that points lead over Sammy Swindell and his cousin Mark.
Steve having a very consistent year. You know, after that Fargo crash, he came back and finished 4th. That was critical. That might have been a season right there to keep him in the point deal. And they're just a very, very consistent season.
Okay, 1 lap to go. Dale Blaney, Steve Kinser. What a fight this is going to be. If Blaney can continue that kind of a restart, he may be really tough to handle.
Yeah, if he can jump out to a big lead like that, with only 10 laps to go, there might not be enough laps for Steve to catch him.
They look like little toy cars from the Circuit City aerial platform. They're anything but toys. They're weapons, winged weapons, and they're about to pull the trigger. Let's go on board with Dale Blaney on the start as he looks back at Sammy Swindell, or rather Steve Kinser, I'm sorry. He did it again.
Yep, and you can see right there how far ahead he did get of Steve Kinser.
Joyce Aldana hanging right onto the back of Kinser.
But Steve, the veteran is, he knows that Blaney's faster. He moved down to the middle of the track. He's searching around trying to find a better line down in 3 and 4.
Sammy Swindell charging up. He's still on the lead lap. Sammy.
Well, we think that's around somewhere around 5th, 6th, or 7th in there.
You look at these drivers like Sammy and Steve Kinser that literally started with this outlaw organization over 20 years ago. They're as tough now as they ever have been, even with all the young talent and the athleticism of the Dale Blaney's. It's still Sammy and Steve you got to contend with every single night.
What an older driver might lose in reaction time a little bit, they gain in experience.
Look at Lisowski hugging the bottom. I mean, hugging it.
Yeah, right down there about banging the wall on the inside.
That's where he loves to be. That's how he won, what, 6 track championships in Knoxville.
Looks like he's about 8th spot right there. And very low, extremely low. That's probably as low as I've ever seen anybody run Eldora.
Oh, man. Well, Sammy's up high. That's where he's comfortable.
But it's working for him.
Oh, yeah.
Sammy's not getting away from him. It takes so much patience to run that bottom. There's Mark Kinser.
Yep.
Trying to come back up through. He had lapped a lot of cars, so that's going to be in his favor.
But the man riding the top the best is probably Dale Blaney. There we get another look at Lisowski, or Dale Blaney, rather.
Yeah, Blaney with Kinser right behind him.
Well, I mean, look at that. He almost put that right rear tire on the wall.
Blaney getting into lap traffic. All he can hope for is all these cars let him by on the outside in the groove that he's running.
And the King trying to set him up. Got him in his sights. Here's Sammy and Lisowski. Danny, you know where. Sammy, you know where.
Oh, look at this. Steve Kinser going for the lead around Blaney, but Blaney fights back. But Blaney's getting really loose.
What an amazing comeback this would be. It's Goodyear against Hoosier.
White flag, what Dale did, he went to the bottom trying to cut Steve off. White flag lap.
This is it.
Oh, no.
A quarter of a mile to go.
No, he's going to have to go to the bottom. He's going to have to go down and try to cut him off. Oh, there's a lap car.
It's Dale Blaney. It's deep into the wall. He tried so hard to pull that off. He put it into the fence. And we have a new king. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Look at that. Dale taking the insurance lap, just pumped up on the throttle. Probably yelling and screaming under that helmet.
He's not done yet. He's not done yet.
You know what?
Oh, listen. Can you hear the crowd in the background?
Yep. It was a good race, and they know it.
It's a Buckeye crowd. It's a Buckeye in the winner's circle.
Dale made some veteran moves there. Balk and Steve Kinser did what he had to do to win this race.
Congratulations to Emeco and the crew of the #3 car and the Mopar engineers and mechanics that built this incredible power plant. We'll be back for all the pomp and circumstance that a king deserves.
In our family, men lose their hair early.
Thank you.
By the time we hit 30, we don't have to invest much in combs. So I started using Rogaine when I was like 28 at the first sign of fallout. Before I looked like I needed it, because I know I would. So here I am. I've been using Rogaine for about 2 years now, right at the source of the problem, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have. Look, I love my dad. I'm just not in a rush to look like him.
Simple, safe, smart. Rogaine. It's stronger than heredity.
The biggest news in motor oil since motor oil.
Let me show you something that really surprised me. Look what happened to the other leading motor oils after a 128-hour test designed to simulate severe driving conditions. But this is newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base after the same test. I'm no mechanic, but I know which one I'd rather put in my car. These, I don't even know what I'd do with these.
For protection so strong you can see the difference, get newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base.
When you're a big-time racer, it's just fame, fortune, and beautiful women. A pretty cool package. Just like a new Luxair air conditioning system for your home with high-efficiency performance to slash your operating costs up to 40%, plus complete reliability, no matter how hot it gets outside. Okay, it's not fame, fortune, and beautiful women, but it is pretty cool, huh? Find your Luxair dealer fast at 1-800-LUXAIRE. 1-800-LUXAIR.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
Tonight's live Outlaw coverage on TNN is brought to you by Mopar. Parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. All I got to say is, wow. Here's the top five. Dale Blaney, the Amoco car. Steve Kinser, the Quaker State car. Bradford, Joey Saldana, Danny Lasowski.
Brad first started 20th in his first Kings Royal and up to third. My hat's off to him.
Let's go down and crown the new king of Eldora.
Oh, look at that smile. How's $50,000 sound?
That's cool. I mean, the guys have been working so hard. Amoco's done a great job for us. That Mopar motor was flawless. The Maxim car was good, and I can't say enough about my brother. I mean, he gave me an opportunity to come back, and we've done good. DJ and Gene, they're awesome. Richie and Frank were here helping, so this is pretty cool.
Tell me about the last couple of laps there. Steve Kinser was coming. Maybe you didn't know how strong he was coming, but he was right on you.
Well, I was getting loose off of 2 real bad, and I didn't know. I didn't hear him, and then all of a sudden, 2 to go, I saw his nose, and man, it got tight. I mean, he ran me clean. I had to use him, you know, going down the straightaways, but he ran me awful clean, and it was a pretty good race.
What'd your brother tell you there on that last restart?
Well, he told me I was kind of okay, so you know, I just kept running where I was at, and I wasn't thinking ahead. I was just taking one corner at a time, and it worked out.
All right, let's go get your crown, Dale Blaney. We will release him to walk up the stairs here and get the crown on his head. He is the king. And there's a big hug from Steve Kinser, the second place finisher, despite the fact that Dale said he had to use him up. Steve Evans.
That was just a marvelous picture of Steve Kinser and Dale Blaney there. What sportsmanship that showed.
Dale and Steve, it was a great race, and Steve enjoys a great race.
All right. To the victor go the spoils. The robe. I've had the pleasure of wearing that in an open one year when you weren't here. Now he gets the scepter and the crown. And you know, it might seem kind of, I don't know, silly, but it's part of the tradition here at Eldora, and it's part of the fun. Let's hear what Steve Kinser has to say.
Well, a minute ago, it was a big look of disappointment. Now he's smiling a little bit. Steve, did you need a few more laps?
Well, it took about 7, 8 laps for my tires to take off again. I just spun so bad off that red. I didn't need the reds. What I needed, a yellow wouldn't hurt me any, but the red just killed me, let everybody cool back off. And, you know, I got there, I got a run at him, and he went to the bottom of the block, man, and there's a lap car there. If I just rode out of it, I think I went back to the top, I'd have had a better chance, but I was so far underneath him, I couldn't roll out of that hard and keep my momentum going. And I seen that of the car down there, and I knew I wasn't going to get him. And my only chance was to roll out of it and go back up to the cushion and try to beat him coming off the corner, which I might have had a chance that way, but I'm afraid if I broke that much momentum, I wouldn't have got him anyways. I just needed a couple more laps. My tires was just coming back, and he was slowing down, so we'll take second.
He'll take second. You got to admire that heart to come from that far back to challenge at the end, Steve.
Indeed, so close to his 5th crown. It's time to recognize the driver earning the Cool Move of the Race Award presented by Luxair, the official heating and air conditioning supplier of the World of Outlaws. Now, that Cool Move has got to be on board the final lap with Dale Blaney.
He did everything he needed to do. Steve Kinser's all over him, and Dale, who ran the top the whole race, went to the bottom, blocked him like he needed to, used a lap car for a pick, and won the race.
The Luxair Cool Move of the Race Award is presented during each televised World of Outlaws event to the driver who makes the coolest move for the race, in our opinion anyway.
Those last 2 laps were by far the most critical that he ran the whole race to hold Steve Kinser back.
All right, Dale Blaney being interviewed by the PA announcer here, and you see the good Padres there who are always on hand. The smoking cannon. Highlights of the night. The cannon started it all.
Craig Delansky's wife there. Yeah, TNN. Joey Saldana having a good weekend, but boy, I know he wanted to hold on to win this thing, but he still had a good run.
Sammy Swindell smoking turned out to be nothing at the time anyway.
It's Joey Saldana's wife, Mark Kinser, with a flat tire.
Nasty little accident that brought up the red flag. No injuries to either driver. Steve Kinser into the wall that ended his shot at his 5th crown. Dale Blaney absolutely over the top with excitement, as he well should be. ExperienceCountry.com, your personal source for all things country. From race cars to country stars, connect to Country.com. For Brad Doty and Dave Argerbright and Gary Gerald, or rather Bobby Gerald, I'm Steve Evans. It's been a long night, but it's been a fun one. We'll see you on down the road.